Good evening and salutations, my GH fans. You know, this is a mess. This is like the definition of a mess. And this is partly the definition of a mess because you have a failed marriage, you have infidelity, you have mistakes that's happened on both sides, right? The deciding factor in this whole thing is that one party shot before the other party did. Now, I've went over how I feel both about what Michael and Willow have done. But this episode isn't even really so much about them, and this is just the issue that's going on. Everybody wants to sit there and throw in their 2 cents into a situation that is between two people, and unfortunately, right now, one of those peoples or persons or whatever is incapacitated. So everyone feels like they have to sit there and jump in. They start throwing shade and throwing judgment and is in a sense it almost kind of reminds me of a video that I wound up doing where I talked about Kiki Palmer, the whole incident with Usher, right? Now, I don't regret doing that video, but I remember somebody, and I don't remember exactly who said it, and I probably wouldn't give that person's name out anyway. They were basically simply saying, you're judging a situation, you're judging a situation that's going on in the marriage that you're not a part of. And when I look at everybody, and today Sasha decided to step up to the plate, I had to sit there and be like, "Boo, you're out of pocket," because yes, I understand that's your friend and everything like that, and you felt like what she did was foul, right? You felt like what she did was foul, and you see her in the house with the kids and stuff like that. It's like, oh, what are you doing? You sitting there taking Michael's kids, and you cheated on him. You really messed up. He was a good dude and everything like that. And so, on one hand, I understand why her, and Lucas and everything like that are jumping up to sit there and call her all sorts of names. But to be honest, bro, you aren't married to him. You didn't sit there and share day-to-day activities with him. I'm not sitting there saying that Michael isn't a good dude, but like everyone has their faults, and unfortunately, these things happen when you drift apart and infidelity happens. My point is, it's very easy for her to sit there and judge from the sidelines. Everybody has been doing that so far. Lucas has been coming in getting on Willow. Sasha has been coming in getting on Willow. Carly has been coming in and getting on Willow. And, Carly could just kind of miss me with a lot of that stuff. And I'm not going to sit there and repeat everything that I said yesterday. But one of the things she said was, "Did you ever really love my son? Did you ever really love the men that you cheated on?" It's easy for her to sit there and say, if this was a complete stranger, I think she would have a little bit more objectivity. But because of her son, she's not thinking like, oh yeah, you know what? I guess I'm kind of a hypocrite for saying that. So yeah, they go back and forth and everything like that, and Willow apparently Willow just grew a backbone. So if something good came out of this whole thing is that Willow has a backbone. She is not afraid to sit there and use her words and come at her. So I'm here for that. Nina is just playing the same old sad, pathetic ass song and dance about how it's Drew's fault and blah 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 blah. And you almost messed up the negotiation, and I had to sit there and say, I'm like, Nina, I don't care at this point. I don't care at this point. And I know people have been sitting there saying, "Oh, Abby, you just been sitting there defending Drew, and Drew's your favorite character, and Jason's my favorite character, and I have no problem sitting there giving him smoke, so it's nothing about that." But it just starts to get old with Nina at this point. Her level of anger and contempt and everything, and it's like, bro, you're testing him on. Oh, well, if you really love her, you would sit there and tell Willow that. It was like, well, if you really loved your daughter, you would sit there and tell your daughter that you snipped there, that you slept with Drew, and you use Drew to sit there and manipulate the situation so you can get closer. But of course, she's not going to do that. So there's that. Um, Now Tracy is not there getting in this whole thing. She's all like, oh well, those kids ain't going nowhere, and they're quartermains and they're staying right here, and I don't care if I'm breaking the law because I'm rich and blah 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 blah. I'm like, okay, here we go. Here we go, all over again. Somebody else in there trying to get in the middle of a custody battle that they have no. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, they're not your kids. This is what Martin kept saying. They're not your kids. But of course, when she's in that mode, it's like, ugh, whatever. Um, Lulu has been snitched on the same song and dance to everybody. This is Dante's. It's gotten to a point even Dante snitched starting to blame himself. Snitched thinking that he has something to do with Lulu not getting back her daughter. That's how, I don't know if that's the power of suggestion or just her whining and her nagging, but like she comes up to her and she's like, hey, listen, I need your money, your resources, and this way I can sit there and try to find Charlotte because I almost had him, but Dante got in the way. Tracy says the same ish that Laura and Dante have been sitting there saying, find a silent lead. I'll get you the money, I'll get you the plane and everything like that, but find a silent lead, and then we'll go from there because you're just going to rush back into danger. And what happens if you get hurt? How you think Rocco's going to feel? Your other son that you keep forgetting that you have. Um, and she's like, oh, you started to sit there and sound like my mom. And I'm like, I think you woke up a little bit too early, personally. Um, okay. I'm, Carly is just exhausting at this point. And the sad part is that there's a part of me that wants to feel for her, right? There's a part of me that wants to feel for her because y'all already heard my rant yesterday. I'm not going to sit there and really kind of go verbatim over it, but I get it. Bad choices and everything like that. It is what it is. Her son's in the hospital. Now, this is where things only make sense in the context of we have to find a way to get rid of the actor. We have to find a way to move this along so this way the actor doesn't be on screen anymore. Okay? Because there's a point where she's like, I'm not trying to be vain or shallow or anything like that, but how is he going to sit there and deal with his burns and stuff? And of course, Jason remembers the clinic that Ava went to. Like, hey, listen, if you can get him into that clinic, that clinic that Valentine knows, then, he can recover and, kind of get rid of his burns and his injuries and stuff. Now, the sad thing is that this is the reason why they're going to probably move him away. And I'm not saying that's not a reason why. But the immediate problem should be the fact that there's a killer there and that Mike almost died because, he got injected with some stuff and Lucas didn't even bother to sit there and tell them that. Instead, Lucas and Liz and Lucky are practically playing Nancy Drew, trying to figure out a motive of why Cyrus would sit there and unalive Michael. And like, that's good and great, but you probably should have told your sister or your cousin or whatever she is to you um, that somebody almost tried to kill your son and my family member. I don't know if that's his nephew or cousin. I have no idea. I think that's their cousin. I think that's their nephew. But the point is, it's like that should be a reason to sit there and move Michael away. Because, Jason's not telling Sonny, hey, listen, they tried once to take you out. They may try again. You need to deal with it. I need to be my family. Okay? And I mean, and I get that. I get you want to be there for your son, but you should probably really get on this because they're not just going to sit back and wait until, you felt like you gave them your enough attention. Like, it's not there talking to Dante and everything like that. Might have seemed like a nice scene, but I felt like your time would have been better served trying to find out who unalived you and almost unalived your son. Just saying, you know. Um, but yeah, that's how they were gonna probably sit there and move Michael, out, or the actor away from the show. I'm like, okay, I don't know. Um, like I said, Carly is still exhausting, and I still have my reasons of why. Part of me is just sitting there looking at her with a level of, like, what did you expect to happen? Um, oh, and I knew I forgot, because it always cramps me. Goddamn people, never mind. There's a point where Lucky's sitting there talking to, I guess, somebody else who runs the missionary. And he's asking a lot of questions about Cyrus as far as like his time being there, how long has he been there, has he been at other hospitals before? Now, how he got to a point of zeroing on Cyrus, uh, they didn't really explain that. And at the same time, Jocelyn's sitting there looking into this stuff as well, and she comes across, she overhears the conversation a little bit. And long story short, Josh and Lucky start comparing notes about Cyrus, talking about Dex and his vendetta and everything like that, his history of Cyrus. Um, and then, of course, after they get done talking, Lucky goes to Liz and Lucas and everything like that, and they're trying to figure out a reason of how and why. Like, why he would be sitting there targeting these people. Because nobody sat there and said anything about a mercy killing or anything like that. But they did kind of hint at it in the sense of like them going through a lot of pain and agony and stuff like that, like with Michael and maybe one of the other women, but the other person that got killed off and off screen or whatever. But like Sam and Dax was healthy, so this wasn't like a mercy killing. Anyway, the point is they're trying to sit there and figure out a connection. Um, I would kind of like to know how did Lucky get to that point of maybe Cyrus has something to do with it. I'm also sitting there trying to figure out how is it possible that they cannot get camera footage of this stuff that's going on, especially the last two, Sam. Even after Sam, you had Dex, you had Michael, and you still didn't get any footage from there. No one's sitting there saying, "Hey, you know who we should sit there and get for this? Spinelli." Nope, nope, we're not gonna do that. Okay, all right, that's cool, I guess. Um, but yeah, like I said, I just going back to the other part. I felt like it was a little kind of rushed. Like, not Smith is saying that she wouldn't be concerned about his burns and how he would sit there and deal with it, but it's almost kind of jumping the gun in the sense of like, how about we just make sure that he is stable and that he maintains his stability before we sit there and start talking about long term effects. Because part of me, I didn't even sit there right in there. I was like, it's not like you don't have money for like plastic surgery and stuff like that. But um, I felt like that conversation was rushed a little bit just because they got to sit there and get, Chad Hu off the show. Um, oh, and then Nina goes to Sonny. Is like, you got to sit there and get the kids from the Quartermains because, Tracy's sitting there just kind of wilding out. I'm like, okay, Sonny, good luck with that. Because Tracy has never seemed more determined than to sit there and be matriarch and assert her position as those damn kids ain't going nowhere. Um, Now I feel like that's about it. All the stuff that I could sit there and think of. Of course, I felt like I wrote a book, so I'm pretty sure there's probably more. Oh, and then Felicia comes out of nowhere, and it's like, oh, by the way, you two got to sit there and leave because Carly went to go in and sit in with Michael, and Felicia's like, whoa, whoa, you can't do that. You got to sit there and leave right now. Yeah, I guess we'll find out in the next episode of why. Anyway, I'm pretty sure I probably missed something, but if I did, come to the live stream tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. I'll be talking about all the shows, General Hospital, Days of Our Lives, Born the Beautiful, and Young and the Restless. And I'll see you in the next video and hopefully live stream tonight.